I also wanted to talk about the people because Vulcan isn't Vulcan without like the people that worked there. If they weren't passionate about film, they were passionate about something else. Most of them are passionate about film, obviously. Um, but I've never met such unique people. Some you got along with, some you didn't. Uh, I mean, that's just the case for anywhere you go. But um, Richard, for the store manager of the 29th Street for a few years while I was there, he was really passionate about old school film and old school things. Like I remember he'd come and be like, "Look at this picture of this 1920s pinup," and I don't know, he'd spend like an hour showing me this stuff. It was interesting, but it was what it was. And he had a temper. He if he didn't like something, you knew it. I remember working. I worked with a girl named Ada, and Ada was hilarious. Like Ada had the most bubbly personality. She was really outgoing. I'm more introvert. I'm very quiet. I'm very like I don't think a lot of people at Vulcan like could pick me out of a lineup, I guess, because I'm more quiet. And Ada was the opposite. She was like really bubbly and had a great personality. And um, but she was like 20. I was like 22 or 23, and I bought her beer. Just bought her beer one day, and Richard found out about it and freaked out. Like he took me behind to the back and just like screamed at me, and I was like, holy shit, okay, like I get it. I won't buy her beer. But at the same time, you had everybody drinking Lone Star in on the job. So it was a job that you could drink. It was a job you can do whatever. I mean, as long as you took care of your customers and took care of like the store, there was nothing that was like off limits. Um, I loved working with Sam. He basically, I think within the first few weeks that I worked, I was 20 something. I was like 22, and I had this like photo where I was like turned over to the side and like looking over my shoulder or something really mid 20s, trying to look seductive, whatever. Sam saw it and he put it on every single computer as the screensaver in the store. So I think it was like only the first couple shifts that I had ever worked, and I walk in and I just see my face on every computer, and it was so embarrassing. I just was like, okay, this is the kind of like shenanigans that's gonna happen, and it didn't stop. Those kinds of shenanigans didn't stop for 6 years. So seriously, had one of the best places to work. um, Working with Austin was a goober. Like Austin liked to drink. They liked to party. So they'd come in. He would sleep at the store. Like he would get so drunk the night before, he just like, oh, I have a shift the next morning. I might as well just stay here. So he'd sleep in the back, throw on like a Vulcan shirt the next morning, and just start a shift. Um, that was always interesting. Uh, Avery is my friend that actually I've known since I was like 7, and her and I worked together on the weekend shifts until midnight, and this was pre 2 a.m. So our shifts were normally at midnight, and we just became even closer, and she became my best friend, and we actually went to Japan, I think in 2006 or something like that. And that entire trip was funded by Vulcan clientele. Of course, because we didn't make a lot of money, we thought of different ways. How can we raise more money for this trip to go to Japan? And so we started baking, and we baked cookies and brownies, and she made cake pops, and we put them on the counter and sell them for like $1 each. And surprisingly, a lot of people bought our baked goods and ended up like giving us a nice little boost for our trip. And yeah, it just the clientele, they all were like, "Oh, did you bring your cookies this time?" Like, and this is after we had come back from Japan. "Where are your cookies?" Like, "Nah, sorry, we're not raising any more money to go go overseas." But yeah.